Welcome back, y'all. Pokey Lambo here. Today we are going over the best cards and sealed to be collecting and investing in without breaking the bank. And starting out here, we got the EV promo, and it's still in that $15 to $20 range, so not too bad. We can kind of see it just hopping along there, not going up too much, but still a great card. I think that it's in a good budget to pick up. We have the Mimikyu promo in that same price range there. I think this one is also a really good one to consider picking up. The Magneton promo's gone up a little bit, nothing too crazy. The chart there is broken, but as we can see in the 6 month, it's starting to go back up there. We can see a ton of these selling. So I don't know. We could see a pretty crazy run up here pretty soon. So I definitely try to snag as many of these promos before it really gets out of control. Because yeah, we can see like almost 1,000 of these have sold on TCG Player. So definitely one that you might need to prioritize before most of them start getting bought up, and the ETBs are running up to $100. Might not see a lot of those getting opened here pretty soon. We have the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. It's really starting to move up north of $100, and with this set rotating out, it could really start to pump up to $200 before you know it. But if you're into Charizard like that, might be a good time to consider picking it up. And we even have what I think is a bad art of the Charizard 151 is at $400. So having this Charizard down here at $100, seems like it's kind of natural for this Charizard to eventually run up to $200. We have the Blastoise, speaking of 151, and it's starting to jump back up a little bit from that 150 mark. And we can see pretty good amount selling, but I think this is one that's still pretty undervalued from the last little pump there up to $200, and definitely could see this one climbing back up there. The Zapdos is broken back up over the $100 mark pretty good. This one definitely will eventually make it back up to that $140, $150 range, I think. Definitely one that you should consider picking up. I don't really think a ton of these SIRs are that crazy from 151, but the Blastoise and Zapdos are definitely ones you should consider. And the 151 poster collections, they're still around that $80 mark, and I still don't think that's terrible. And when it comes to the pack price, this is one of the cheapest ways to get 151 if you're still desperate to get 151 at this point. But I feel like the opportunities are getting very, very limited at this point, unless we see something crazy happen where 151 really takes a nosedive here in the near future. And Surging Sparks booster boxes are kind of down here in this 140, 150 range. You can see it kind of took a little bit of a nosedive, but you can see quite a few of these selling. And when it comes to booster boxes, I don't think this is terrible. Even the perfect order booster boxes are above $200. And for me personally, I'd rather spend a little bit more for a set that I like Surging Sparks, than one like perfect order that I don't think the chases are as good or as strong as Surging Sparks. And I think if you're looking to pick up a booster box right now, this is pretty good, especially over the 3 month. Having it be down 8%, I think is definitely a good time to look at buying these. Then we got the Prismatic Evolutions tech sticker collection. And I just have the set of 3 here. We can see that they've kind of shot up from that $90 to $102, but you're about $11 per pack. And I mainly have these here because these have been showing up at Walmart's a lot. And I definitely think that you should try to keep an eye out for these, especially locally. Um, Unfortunately, at Walmart, they are selling for about $30, and it probably will be pretty close to this, 110 range if you are buying it locally off someone that's, you know, taking advantage of the Walmart restocks. But I would definitely keep an eye out for these if you're able to find these at retail stores. Seems like there's a ton of these showing up. We also have Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. These unfortunately did not really drop down to 150, but with the restock reprint, hopefully we'll just see more and more of these show up in the wild. And you're able to pick these up. MSRP doesn't really seem like it's going to be a thing at retail. If you find it, it'll probably be over MSRP, but definitely if you can find them, yeah, hopefully under $100, that'd be great. So hopefully we see it drop down, but it doesn't seem like people are really budging below that, like really 160. And same here with the Prismatic Evolutions Super Premium Collection. We'll be waiting to see these hit Costco, and they haven't really budged too much. And hopefully we just see an insane amount of these hit the secondary market, and hopefully these can come down to 250. And at that point, I might consider, buying one at 250, but hopefully I'd be able to trade something into it because I do want at least one of these. I don't super love the super premium collections just because they're so big, but I do feel like this one is pretty epic and I need at least one to display. I threw in Kyurem from Black Bolt, and for an SIR being about $70, and from a set like Black Bolt where it's just there's so many cards in it, I feel like getting some of these SIRs would be pretty difficult. And with the alleged, not low print, but Pokemon possibly not printing as much of Black Bolt and White Flare, I think that this card can end up performing pretty well over the long run. And I think for $70, that isn't too bad. And it does look really, really cool. We also have the kind of the same situation here with the Genesect being, just over $40. I think is pretty cheap for an SIR. And Genesect is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon from Black and White. And I think $41 is actually pretty reasonable for an SIR. And now we're kind of getting into the promos from Mega. We got the Mega Lucario and market price $18, pretty good. And then the Gardevoir being around $10 is stupid cheap. I would definitely be trying to buy as many of these as possible. And Oricorio, it's just bouncing around that, $10 to $12 range. And same story, I just snag up as many of these as possible. And Zekrom is chilled out around $9, but we can see a ton of these selling. It's starting to kind of slow down as the ETBs are from Scented Heroes are being chewed up. But we'll see if once the supply starts to get chewed through, if it starts to rise up, because this one looks super cool in person. And then we got the first partner cards, and these could possibly come down even more, especially with um, the second one's coming out here pretty soon, because we had the first batch and now we're going to have the second one. So these could possibly come down even more, but Piplup's pretty close to $10, which I think is a good price to be picking these up at. Turtwig, about, what is that? $7. Rowlet, Litten, Chimchar, Poplio is definitely the lowest of them all, but we can see hundreds of these selling within a couple days, and I just think that these are no-brainer plays, especially when they're under $10. I'm really waiting for like the Charmander. If it hits 30, I think that's pretty good. And the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle, if they hit 20 bucks, that'd be ideal, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. And then we got Tyrant here. Market price is about $5, and I think that's actually a pretty good price. I was kind of waiting to see if it would drop down to $2. It hasn't really happened yet, and it's been almost, a month since it came out. And with it chilling around $5, I think that's probably about a good time to start picking these up. You start seeing them out in the wild, especially with some of the other promos starting to run up. I think it's a good time with the other ones going crazy. Maybe start grabbing some of the Tyrants, because who doesn't like a dinosaur? And Charcadet is not shockingly, still chilling down here in the $2 to $3 range. Still, in my opinion, a great card to be picking up. And Mega Sharpedo, we can actually see yesterday 91 of these sold. So I think people are really starting to realize some of these SIRs are very, very, very undervalued, and they're really starting to buy these guys up. And I think you're able to get in at $25 before they possibly start going on a run, but I don't know. We could be seeing a huge supply of Phantasmal, so I'd be very cautious buying like that many. Like for me, I'm like, I'd buy a couple, but yeah, I wouldn't go crazy and buy 100 of these, like maybe like two, but that's just my opinion. And Mega Lopunny, same story. We see 73 of these sold yesterday, pretty much, or within like the last 2 days, and it's in the $20 range. And same with Rotom here. Yeah, 64 sold within the last 2 days. Pretty interesting that in the last few days we've seen a lot of people start to buy up these Phantasmal Flames SIRs. And then this one I couldn't help throwing in was Mega Hawlucha from Ascended Heroes. And out of all the new Megas, I think Mega Hawlucha is probably one of the best. And seeing it down here in the $60, $70 range, I think that's super undervalued. And if I can find one of these at my LGS, I'll definitely pick one up, because I think this one is super, super reasonably priced right now. That's kind of my sleeper card right now. Same here with the Mega Zygarde. It's well under $100, and could hit $50. And even if it does, I think picking it up at $88 isn't horrible, when in my opinion it's probably like the best SIR of Perfect Order. So for it to be at $88, I think is such a steal. And to finish things off, Perfect Order Elite Trainer boxes are pretty close to $60 there. So Walmart, the ETBs basically sell at $60, and it seems like that's kind of just the new MSRP for Elite Trainer boxes. So if you're really into Elite Trainer boxes, I think it could be a good time to pick up the Perfect Order Elite Trainer boxes. I definitely want to go crazy though, because I think buying a lot of something only makes sense if you really believe in the set, and it's at a price that you feel comfortable. If it went down like 30-40%, you're not gonna freak out. But for me, I like the ETBs, and at $60, I think it's pretty good. And let me know what you guys are picking up, if you think these ETBs are worth picking up at $60, or would you rather pick up Ascended Heroes or Prismatic at 150 or 160. And you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.